Here now with the Hannity Washington briefing. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt is with us. Let's start. You know, we're a week away from what is officially 6 months of the administration. What I mentioned was pretty much a tip of the iceberg in terms of the administration's success. I don't think enough people get that 30,000-foot view and look at the big picture, because I really can't think of a presidency in the modern era that has accomplished that much so quickly. Is the administration going to celebrate it in some way?
Well, with President Trump, we work hard every day, and we are going to continue to work hard to deliver on all of the campaign promises that he made to the American public. But it surely has been an extraordinary 6-month start to the 4 years that President Trump has been blessed with back in the Oval Office. And let's go back to 1 year ago yesterday, where God saved the life of President Trump so he could save this country and return to this city where so much change is needed. And look at what he has done with the border. You just laid it out, Sean, the most secure border in our nation's history. A president who has the backs of our law enforcement officers every day. Those law enforcement officers who are watching your show right now, who put their uniform on to protect our fellow Americans, to make our communities safer. This president supports you and he loves you. Look at our economy. It is booming again, thanks to the pro-growth, less regulatory policies of this administration. And we just signed, President Trump just signed the most significant piece of tax legislation in American history, the largest tax cut for working and middle-class families. That means more money directly into the pockets of every single American watching your show tonight. You look at what he's done to root out DEI and waste, fraud, and abuse in our federal government, to keep men out of women's sports. Victory upon victory. We had another one with the Supreme Court today, handing another big victory to not just the Trump administration, but more importantly, parents and students and families across the country. The Supreme Court saying that, yes, Secretary of Education Linda McMahon can move forward with the president's promise to dismantle the Department of Education, return education back to parents, back to states, so we can have the best, brightest, most highly educated students in the world. Win after win every day. We will continue to work hard. And I just want to say to your audience, there is not a more hardworking president than Donald J. Trump. I witness it with my own 2 eyes every day. That man is working around the clock. He hardly ever sleeps. He's constantly thinking about not just the problems in our country here, but around this world and how to solve them. And look at what he's done on the world stage with bringing peace to the Middle East, with drawing Russia and Ukraine to actually talk directly for the first time in this war in years. We see what's happening with the hostages coming out of Gaza, and he's going to keep pushing until every last hostage is out. This is a president who is a peacemaker in chief, and it cannot be overstated how successful the first 6 months of this administration have been, thanks to the leadership of President Trump.
Karoline, let me read a headline from the Washington Examiner. Trump's tariffs deregulation give June its first budget surplus in 20 years. Wow. That's not gotten a lot of attention.
No, it hasn't. And all of the naysayers, all of the so-called economic experts who doubted this president and his economic formula are now eating their words. In fact, there was a story on the cover of the Wall Street Journal today saying that those fears of recession that everyone was ranting and raving about have now cooled, because the economy and everyone from Wall Street to Main Street understands this is a president who is a businessman and he knows what he's doing. Pro-growth, higher wages, less inflation, less taxes, and more money back in people's pockets. And look at the investments that have poured into our country. We have companies all over the world who are coming to build factories and create jobs with American hands and American labor right here in the United States of America. This is the best country on the planet to do business in. And that's something President Trump promised the American worker. I was with him on the campaign. I know you covered it, Sean. When he traversed this country and promised the American worker he was going to stand up for them. And his economic agenda has surely done that. And all of the so-called experts, they have been proven wrong. The president knows what he's doing. He wants to bring growth back to this country. He wants to end the Biden inflation crisis, and he already has in just six months. There's more work to do. He will continue to do it. but he has a proven economic formula that works. Just look at the success of his first term as president.
Let me ask you about the 700% increase of attacks on ICE agents. Add to that the doxing of ICE agents and their families. Now, the president did pull the plug on free tuition for illegals, and the president did authorize ICE agents to protect themselves when rocks are being thrown at them by protesters and protect themselves by whatever means is necessary. And then you have the L.A. Mayor Karen Bass announcing a new cash giveaway plan for Biden illegals. How is it possible that you're going to give away free money to illegals, and in New York State they're talking about hiring attorneys for illegals, and then you have sanctuary state and city policies? How is any of this not against the law? How is it not aiding and abetting lawbreaking?
The Democrats have completely lost their minds, and they have forgotten the number one reason they lost the election in an overwhelming fashion on November 5th. And it's because they were putting American citizens behind illegal aliens who were invading our country for 4 years. You think about the images outside of the Roosevelt Hotel in New York, which was once a historic landmark hotel where presidents used to go to hang out and host meetings. It has now been run into the ground. It is now a desolate place where millions of illegal aliens invaded cities like New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles. They stole the benefits that should be going to hardworking, tax-paying Americans, and they committed crimes all across this country, and many American lives have been lost. So now the president has empowered federal law enforcement to actually do the jobs they signed up to do, to remove these public safety threats from our communities. And it is shameful that you have elected leaders who are elected to protect their American citizen constituents who are aiding and abetting this violence against federal law enforcement. You look at Los Angeles and the raid that ICE just conducted on a marijuana facility. 300 illegal criminals were pulled out of that facility, some of them unaccompanied minors. By the way, the Biden administration lost thousands of children that this administration is focused on finding with law enforcement operations like these. And there was also child predators and convicted murderers who were picked up in that operation as well. God bless the men and women of ICE. They are heroes, and they are great men and women who put on that uniform every day and deserve to go home safely to their families at night. And the Democrats who are allowing this violence to take place against them should be ashamed of themselves. And I know that the American people will firmly reject that position in the next election, just like they did in the previous election on November 5th, when they reelected President Trump and the Trump administration to seal our border and deport illegal criminals from our homeland.
We saw the reaction the president got at MetLife Stadium. Not exactly a red state, to say the least, this weekend. Karoline Leavitt, thank you. The Hannity White House briefing. We appreciate your time. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.